Hey there, folks. Piano Man Steve Lungrin here, founder of the Piano Man Approach online piano courses. Thank you for visiting my channel and checking out this video. Today we're going to be looking at a cool trick for those who are struggling to remember how to play 7 chords. If you're kind of at the beginning of your journey with chord symbols and you kind of have those major and those minor chords down, maybe even have learned other triads like diminished or augmented, but once you start adding that extra layer of complexity like sevens, it gets a little complex, kind of hard to remember how to play all of them, and maybe struggling a little bit with how to voice them. Well, I've got a cool trick for you today. Before we get started, really quick, if you enjoy this kind of content, I'd sure appreciate it if you would give this video a like, subscribe to the channel, share it with people that might like it, leave comments, all that good stuff that helps me beat the YouTube algorithm. I don't know that I beat it, but that helps me rise up the search rankings so that this gets in front of as many people that can use it as possible. Thank you very much. And also, head over to pianomanapproach.com. I've got a link down in the description there. I got a free gift for you over there that can help you with your musical journey and move you forward with even more practical advice. And you can get it just by visiting that link. So, okay, onward and upward here with what we're going to be talking about. So here's the thing. As I say, what I hear from a lot of people who are kind of just getting used to reading chord symbols is they'll say, you know, I kind of understand C chord, right? Just got my C, E, G, 1, 3, 5. And if you don't know what that means, it just means if you were to take the scale, right? C scale 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, right? Those scale degrees, well, that major chord is the 1, 3, and the 5. Okay? And you can start that same process on any of the 12 notes. And if you follow whole step, half step, whole step, half step, boom, you have yourself a major scale anywhere you go. And the point that we're driving here is a lot of folks get this. But when it comes time to adding that 7, like a C7 chord, dominant 7, we add that B flat in, it gets a little confusing. They struggle a little bit. You know, it's like, how many of these notes do I have to play? It's getting a little bit thick, and I've got to remember, is it this 7 or is it the major 7? Is it, you know? So here's something that was a trick I used when I was first starting out. I don't have to use it anymore, but this helped me a lot to understand how to play these 7 chords, and it also helped me do some voicing because I was pretty good. I got pretty good at inversions, right? And that's when you're playing the C chord here, right? You can play these 3 notes in any combination. It can be here, it can be here. Those are inversions. First inversion, second inversion. So I was reasonably good at inversions with those basic triad chords. But then I thought, oh my goodness, you throw a 4th note in there. There's so many different inversions. What do I do? And so what I like to teach people is that you don't need to play the root of the chord in your right hand when you're voicing that chord, because you're probably playing it in the left hand already. So in this case, the C chord, the root's already taken care of. So that only leaves you 3 notes. So what we can do is give you a rule of thumb on how to turn the 3 remaining notes into a triad you are already familiar with. So let's start here. When you're on a major chord and you add what we call the dominant 7, this is the most common kind of 7 chord you're going to run into. That's where you play the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, except flatted. Okay, that lowered 7 with a major chord underneath it. Okay? If you were to look at the 3 and then just look at these 3 notes, what is that? That is an E diminished triad. Okay? And if you were to think of it as E diminished, which is simply a minor chord with a flatted fifth, boom, it's one of your basic triads, and then put a slash next to it, and then say E diminished over C. Boom, now you're there. And you can work through the different inversions of E diminished instead of thinking about the 4-note chord that comes with a C. So you're like this. In every one of these, what we're going to be looking at is you take the 3 of the chord, and it becomes one of the 4 basic triad chords over the root. So a diminished chord, a 3 diminished over the root, and you've got it, okay? Now, so it's diminished for what we call a dominant 7. If you have a minor 7 chord, okay, a minor 7 chord, which is a minor triad, and then you have that lowered 7, that flatted 7. Now what we're playing is a 3 major, minor 3 major. So E flat, G, B flat. It's an E flat major chord, right? Over a C. And then when you're doing your inversions, all you have to think about is E flat. Okay, we got this, and this, and this. So what I would do when I was first starting out, now a lot of you are probably doing these on tablets, so I don't know if this is going to be an option on a screen, but I used a lot of printed sheet music that had chord symbols on it. And whenever I would just take it and I would scratch out the 7s and I'd replace it with, in this case, if it was a C minor 7, I would just scratch it out and pencil in E flat over C. It was just easier for my brain to process early on. And then, as I said, it made it easier for me to move around in the different inversions, because I was just thinking of the inversions of this major triad. And again, all we're doing is we're taking the 3 of the chord. The 3 of a minor chord is 1, 2, 3. It's the minor 3, okay? Now, if you're playing what they call a major 7, that's where you play a major triad and you put that 7 in, but you don't lower it. You get that airy-fairy kind of nice, fluffy sound, a little cheesy. Carpenters, you know. Okay, when you have that, you're playing a 3 minor triad. So in this case, E minor, E, G, B, over a C. So 3 minor over the root. Okay, and then the one that's really, really uncommon, but it's good to know it's out there for the cheat code, is when you have the very elusive minor major 7, where you play a minor triad and then put the major 7 over the top of it. Well, in that case, you're playing a 3 augmented over the root. So in this case, an E flat augmented chord. So major 3rd, and then we raise the 5th from here to here. Now, I have actually put I put this down in the description below my link. I've written out just, a few examples of this and kind of put these in writing so that you have it as a cheat code. But what it can do, especially if you're in a position to replace the written chord symbol of 7 to this thing with a slash, and you put the 3, whatever the right kind of triad is, over the root, what it can do is it can really, really help you get more comfortable with playing different inversions while including that 7 note. because you just don't have to think as much. You take the root completely out of the equation down here, and it gives you fewer things to focus on, you know. And I think slash chords are an easier way to go in a lot of cases early on, because while you are thinking of it as it's an E minor chord with a C bass, that's kind of weird, right? But the slash C, you know, I mean, it makes it so clear what your left hand's going to be on. C. You don't have to do any thinking. It just tells you the note. So in this way, most of your brain power goes to E minor. Okay, great. And I don't have to think about anything else. And I can work my way around in the various different inversions. Nice and simple. And it's cool. It doesn't matter what chord you're on. If we were on a G chord, what's the 3 of G? 1, 2, 3. So we're going to be dealing with triads that start with either B or B flat, because it'll either be the major 3 or the minor 3. We'll have one, you know, a G major 7. It'll be a B minor chord over a G. For a minor 7, it's going to be a B flat major chord over a G. For a G dominant 7, it's going to be a B diminished chord over a G. And for that crazy, very unusual minor major 7, a G minor major 7, it's going to be a B flat augmented chord. So there's the normal 5, we raise it. There we go, there's our B flat augmented over a G. Okay? Does not matter what chord you're on. A flat, D flat, F sharp, whatever. This always will work. You just go to the 3, and then you think of it in terms of that, slash, and then you know exactly what your left hand's going to be playing. So this is a cheat code that I used a lot that kind of helped me get a lot more comfortable with all the various 7 chords early on in my playing career. And as a result of that, you know, I just got a lot more comfortable, particularly maneuvering around with the different inversions. And the day came when I didn't need to scratch that out and think of it that way anymore, but it was a nice bridge for me so that I could start using more complex chords more often. Because if you're uncomfortable playing complex chords, you know, where you have a 6 or a 7 or a 9 or an 11 or a 13 or whatever, beyond those basic triads, then your basic rule of thumb is to just scale the chord back down to the triad that's underneath it, which is great, but gosh, you know, it really adds a lot of character to the song when you can throw those 7s and other things in. And 7's the most common complex chord. So when you get that under your belt, it really, really serves you for playing other complex chords, because so often 7 will be a part. The 7 will be a part of other more complex chords as well. So it really pays dividends to get super comfortable playing your dominant 7s, major 7s, minor 7s, and, you know, like I say, you're not going to see it that often, but you should know how to play a minor major 7. So that's my trick for today. I hope that for some of you this is useful and that it's going to give you a tool that you can use to improve your piano playing and further your goals while having more fun immediately. Okay? Thank you very much. Hope you'll check out my link. I've got more free stuff, lots more free stuff over there, as well as all over my channel. So I will let it be for today. Just remember, as you go out into the world from this video, my personal mantra, which is, if you're not having fun when you're making music, you're doing it wrong, and I will see you on the next video. All right, gang. I'll see you later.